Hey guys, I'm CLINTFLAIRWOOO and I'm back once again like the Renegade Master with another Division 2 build, and today I'm bringing you effects galore with my perfect spark build for PvE that offers you so much utility and diversity on this build. You are consistently offering status effects for you and your team to rinse through NPCs like butter, also gaining 35% weapon damage. Take a look at the build. Hey guys, I'm CLINTFLAIRWOOO. Welcome once again to another build video, and today guys I'm bringing you status effects galore with this build. Enough of the jibber jabber, let's take a look. Okay guys, here we have it. I'm rolling with a Nerf gun specialization. That gives me that extra skill damage which is essential to the build, and yes, also 50% skill power to get me to 3k skill power. Now my primary damage is 14.2k, my RPM is 900, armor is 260k, my health is 36.5k, and my skill power, yes, is that number which is desirable for so many builds, is 3000. I'm rolling with 4-piece ongoing directive with 2 high-end pieces, and as we go through the build I'll explain why I'm using these and how effective these are in the build. Let's do this. Guys, the mask is ongoing directive. Let's go through the gear set. Set bonus 2 is 25% bleed damage. Set bonus 3 is emergency requisition. It's combat resources, armor kits, ammo and grenades within 40 meters of you are collected when your weapon is reloaded. And set bonus 4 is the right tool. Killing an enemy affected by a status effect drops explosive special ammo. That goes straight into the mag. So as soon as it's ready, you will have that explosive ammo in your magazine that will deliver, yes, status effects. And that's awesome. And that will proc my 2 talents, which we'll go through as we look at the mask and the backpack. Now the attributes are skill, power and damage to elites. I would like more damage to elites on this. I need to keep my ass farming and grinding. Once I get to about 50%, this build will be absolutely OP, trust me. Skill power is a little bit on the low side, but still I'm at that 3k all-round number, so I don't really need any more. Just to increase that damage to elites would be essential. Now, the mod is weapon damage, shotgun damage, and assault rifle damage. And the chest piece is, again, ongoing directive, and we know what that does. So the gear pieces or the attributes, skill power, armor, headshot kill XP. The offensive mod is weapon damage with assault rifle damage. Defensive mod is armor, total armor, explosive resistance. Utility mod is skill power, headshot kill XP, and explosives damage. And I'm using an AR for my Seekers, and that again for the extra health damage, for the extra damage through the Seekers. As simple as that. Now the holster again is ongoing directive with skill power and critic chance. You could opt for skill haste if you wanted to. I've gone for more damage on the build, so I've gone for critic chance of 15%. And then the mods, both weapon damage, assault rifle damage. And now the knee pads. Knee pads is the 4th piece of ongoing directive, and that gives me 28% skill haste. And the mods, weapon damage with assault rifle damage, armor, explosive resistance, and total armor. Now onto the high ends. The first high end is my Murakami high end gloves. That's 8% health. The attributes are 11% hazard protection, 8% assault rifle damage. This could be a tad higher, up to 12%. So if you can do so, make sure you can get to about between 10 and 12. You're in a good place. The talent Wicked. When you apply a status effect, gain 15% weapon damage for 20 seconds. This is excellent. It really is. Again, this is showcasing this because, again, if you don't have the BTSU gloves, I do. But if you don't, then this is such a viable option, given you are spamming status effects on this build like no business. You will be consistently garnering that 15% weapon damage all the time, pretty much. And I'll show you how it works very shortly. But yes, Wicked, great talent to use on this build. And the backpack, which is the creme de la creme of the build because of the talent, but we'll go through the backpack first, is strategic alignment. So it's a named backpack. So it's explosives damage, or just a named talent, or a perfect talent, whatever you want to call it. Skill power, health, critic chance. Those rolls are a little bit low. I would like some armor on there or some weapon damage, but again, it's my first piece, and it wasn't perfectly rolled. It should have been because it's perfect, but it wasn't. So I had to make an adjustment to the backpack. But if you can get some armor or some weapon damage, this build is so much more stronger. Now, Perfect Spark. Damaging enemies with skills or explosives grants 20% explosive damage for 15 seconds. You need 9 or more offensive stats, and you can see I tick all the boxes for that. This talent is on all of the time. It genuinely is, and I will show you very, very shortly. Hardened. I've gone for Hardened again to make me a bit more tankier, because with this, I do a lot of face tanking on this build, and it works. But you need at least 250k armor, at least. If you have more than what I have, then you're in such a good place. You're rocking and rolling. Get to 300k, you're laughing all the way to the bank. And again, if I had armor instead of health on there, then happy days. But again, you need to make sure that you have 9 offensive stats to have Perfect Spark active. The mods, skill power, explosive damage, and increased kill XP. Let's go through the skills, then we'll look at the weapons. The Stinger Hive. Now it's got refill time or refill speed of 3.2 seconds, 22 charges, but I do have recharged on my primary weapon, so that gets that to 24. A range of 8 meters, duration of 50 seconds, damage 131.320, and these are the mods. Damage, charges, and charges. You can opt for radius on one of those to get the radius a little bit higher, but I'll show you why I haven't. So let's take this one for example. If I change this to radius, you can see my refill speed is 1.4 seconds higher, and I only have 8 in the mag, which is a little bit frustrating. 8, I have 15 in the mag, so that's a little bit frustrating. Whereas this one, again, the range is a bit lower, back down to 8 meters, but still I have more charges and a quicker refill speed. So this is why I've opted for that. And again, damage I think is essential to have on there, and that's a quite sexy charges one, as that's okay, but still that's why I've opted for charges on the skill. Now the second skill is the Cluster Seeker Mine. Now with this, it doesn't offer me bleed, but it will offer me that explosive damage, which is cool. It's got a cooldown of 18.5 seconds, damage of 364,000, which is good. Yes, it could be higher because I don't have the talent Destructive on my build. I have the 10% from China Light. If you have Destructive on your backpack with Perfect Spark, then yes, you're going to get extra 40% damage. That's something to bear in mind. Again, it's dependent how your build is set out. But I've opted for more armor because I want to be more tankier. You could get more explosive damage easily on this build. 9 mines, and that's cool. Again, that's putting more enemies on status effects. Yeah, blast radius of 4 meters and PvP damage is 91k. And the mods skill haste, damage, and extra cluster mines. And I think that's the way to go on this build. Let's go for the weapons. The primary weapon is a Satria 21, and a couple of reasons why I've opted for this. First reason is I like the high RPM. It has an okay base damage, or should I say sufficiently low when people look at it in the whole grand scheme of things. However, again, lower RPM means more damage, or again, more base damage effectively. You could go for a FAMAS if you have a perfectly rolled one. That would be really good. Or a P416. That's fine. However, I've opted for the Satria 21 because it's the best rolled weapon that I have for this build. 14.2k base damage, 40 in the mag, 900 RPM. The Talent Sadist, deal plus 30% weapon damage to bleeding enemies. After 3 kills, applies bleed to the next enemy you hit. Now just thinking about this, guys, so enemies that are bleeding, so that is through your Stinger Hive, there's 30% weapon damage. And you've also got to take into consideration the 20% from the Perfect Spark, and also the 15% from the Talent Wicked on your gloves. So that's an extra 65% weapon damage to bleeding enemies. That's crazy. And again, after 3 kills, applies bleed to the next enemy you hit. It's crazy. It genuinely is. So yes, it works a treat on this build. Distance, 15% optimal range. And recharged, well-equipped skills deployed at full armor have 25% duration, charges and ammo. This is solely for my Hive Stinger. It doesn't work with the Seeker Mines. Mods, accuracy, rounds, crit chance, and damage to elites. And damage to elites is integral to do more damage against yellow bar enemies. My secondary is the Merciless Exotic. And again, I only use this for the holstered talent, which is Brutality. While holstered, landing a shot has a 5% chance to deal plus 100% damage as explosive damage. That's pretty cool, in all honesty. There's not a huge amount of explosive damage on the build, but this does help to really multiply your damage. So once you've got all your weapon damage proc in, for example, Wicked and Perfect Spark and Sadist, when this kicks in, you're hitting hard. You're hitting very, very hard, especially with an elite bar NPC as well. You're going to hit them exceptionally hard. So that's something to really, really bear in mind. Merciless is great for this. You could go for a weapon with, for example, Rooted to get a bit of extra skill damage, but I want to deal as much damage through my weapons as possible on this build by also doing some good, solid skill damage. You get me? That's what I'm looking for, and that's what I've got with the Brutality talent from the Merciless. The fixed mods, accuracy, reload speed, weapon handling, and stability. Now finally, my sidearm is a 93R, and only for the holstered talent, which is in Rhythm. Well equipped, enemy kills have a 5% chance to refresh active skill cooldowns, can occur once every 60 seconds. And the mods, optimal range and critical hit chance. Now we've seen the weapons, the skills and the gear. Let's take a look at the stats and then I'll show you a demonstration in the range. So my weapon damage is 14,180. Now my critic chance is 26%, critic damage is 25%, headshot damage of 55%, a 2-second reload time, 10% accuracy, 40 meter range, that's due to distance on my CTAR. All weapons damage bonus 7.5%. I would like to remove critic chance from the backpack and get weapon damage and get as high as possible on there. That'll be such perfectly roll for the build, but unfortunately I don't have so. I need to keep farming for a slightly better roll Perfect Spark backpack, but again, something to bear in mind. Now in terms of the offensive talent, we look at 38% assault rifle damage, which is good. It's pretty solid. All my mods are assault rifle damage of 3%. Again, if you have better mods, then something to bear in mind. My damage to elites is 42%. I don't have hard hitting anywhere, or I don't have a slightly better rolled mask, but something to bear in mind. My explosive damage is 15.5%. This build, the way I look at it and where I centered it was to create status effects. To create as many status effects as possible so you are just consistently dealing more damage through the talents that will proc simultaneously. So that's something to bear in mind once you put this together. Now let's show you a demonstration in the range. Right, we're on easy. We want to change this to medium, and then we'll change it again, and then again to very hard. Okay, so let's get in the cover. We can see some elite enemies there. Now if you just take a look at the hood, the minute recharge is active, so that gives my Stinger Hive 22, a bump up to 24. And let's take a look at the hood when these proc. So Wicked procs and Perfect Spark procs with this, which is awesome. Let's just take down the last of NPCs, and then you see there is the bleed effect, and it rinses through NPCs. 115k with that. That's quite nice. Easy as that. Now let's drop a Seeker. But firstly, let's just take out these bad boys. Now we just throw a Seeker, and you see that on the hood at the bottom. So Perfect Spark is refreshed. Simple as that. So you can have this as active as often as you want, which is awesome. It genuinely is. Let's throw the Hive down. You can see again, to put the bleed effect, happy days. Easy as that. And that's Perfect Spark. And you can see in the hood that it's consistently procking. And it also procs through your ongoing directive piece. As you can see, just it's applied the bleed, so you have Wicked procs and Perfect Spark will proc because of the explosive damage through your primary weapon. So happy days. Let's see if it does this again. And there's your Merciless. And then you see there, guys, both of them proc at the same time. I've not used skill. I've just used my assault rifle, being the CTAR, just to get these to proc. And we'll demonstrate again very, very soon. Just wait until they both go out, so Wicked and Perfect Spark are gone. And it shows you that you don't need your skills to proc these if you're rolling with Ongoing Directive. And it's Perfect Spark. Let's get that bleed on the go. And there you go. And there you have Wicked procced for, again, the third kill. So, guys, you don't have to be using these skills, but I've used these skills to get them active as often as possible. And they are active literally all the time. It's as simple as that. You're absolutely smashing through NPCs, which is crazy. And you see there again, it just procs just like that. And that's great on the build. So you're consistently running around, creating these status effects for you and your team, while also dealing an insane amount of damage. But guys, this is it. This is my Perfect Spark build for PvE. Does some cracking damage, creates many status effects that give your weapons a huge, huge buff to rinse through NPCs. And that's what it's all about on this build. Guys, I'm CLINTFLAIRWOOO, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.